Carolina, Bill, he's had a tremendous year, sort of an overachieving year. Too bad that North Carolina didn't advance because he did have just the best year of his career down there for North Carolina. And did a great job against Cornell, but the offense failed them there, and they didn't advance. Scoring by quarters, there it is. Third quarter, we talked about how Penn was doing a good job, but you have to do it for 4 straight quarters. Syracuse starting the offensive machine here in the second half.
Of course, a couple of other good goaltenders, Peter Sheehan, John Schmoller, we'll see tomorrow on ESPN in the other semifinal game.
And those 2 goalies were the whole story for Cornell and Virginia to get into that game tomorrow, so we will focus on them.
Here's Scaramuzzino, Syracuse, a long stick midfielder. He's pretty good with the long stick.
All these guys are good with the long stick. It's amazing what they can do, and they're very feared. They come down now with the clear, and years ago, like 6 years ago, you wouldn't get it. The defensemen coming in to play offense. Now they clear the ball. They keep going to the net because they can get the ball back and shoot.
Gary Gait behind the cage. He's scored twice here today, actually 3 times today.
And how do you play him now behind the cage? He has really got them thinking differently now that he's launched himself over the top of the cage twice. A lot of mind games going on if you're playing Gary Gait. What the heck do you do to stop him?
Number 1 is Keith Owens, a senior midfielder. In front to Allen, and his shot was deflected wide. I believe Canaris got a piece.
Well, now Owens is in instead of Roos, so we'll have to see if Roos had an injury situation to make that midfield change.
4:34 to play, period number 3. The Orangemen up by 4. Dome in Syracuse, New York, the only domed stadium in the Northeast, and the only domed stadium that actually sits on a college campus. Syracuse up by 4. Gary Gait with the ball. Look at that. Look at Gary Gait, and he almost got that shot off.
Canaris came out to double him. There was an open goal for Gary, but he just couldn't get the shot.
Here he is again, and he tried to jump over the net. This time he just landed on it. That's a crease violation. And Pennsylvania possession. Do you believe?
He's a little mad. The greatest thing about that shot is that it's neat when it works. But the best thing for Penn is, now look at the ability of Gary Gait. The double team by the goalie. Look, there's no goalie. That's a defenseman in there. They kept him from getting the good shot. That's a very effective play. Now here he goes with a launch from behind the crease area. This is what he's been successful in 2 out of 2 times. This time he won't. I suggest that now Penn has seen it a couple of times. It'll be very tough for him to score with that move. And what it does against Syracuse is that it gives the ball back to Penn. They don't maintain possession like a shot from the outside would.
I think they're watching back at Brentwood Bay, British Columbia today.
Well, I hope they are. These guys are definitely proud players from that area.
They're the pride of Canadians. And speaking of Canadians, Mike French was from Canada, and Gait broke his record.
They're going to break a lot of records. It's hard to believe they're only sophomores, Bill, and they're doing such a wonderful job.
Here's Sean Doherty moving in for Pennsylvania into the goal area. Winds up. He shoots. He scores. Sean Doherty fires it in by Palem, and it is an 8-5 game as Doherty gets his 2nd goal of the game.
Doherty with 21 goals on the season coming into this game. Look at the nice move to get past the defense. He waits till the sliding defender comes over. He waited to Stouffer, got close enough to make a stick check, and then he fired with the full 6x6 in front of him. That bounce shot has been very effective against Palem. That's the book on him, according to Tony Seaman. You can tell that by the way this offense is shooting. And I'll tell you what, Palem has that one huge save. Other than that, Penn has been very effective against the defense of Syracuse.
Once again, it is Chris Flynn and Bill Durgel on this face-off. Flynn in the blue, Durgel in the white. 8-5, Syracuse University leading, 3:44 to play. Third quarter. Flynn almost won it on possession. This face-off won't be decided until the Orangemen pick it up. Here's Syracuse on the run once again. Paul Gait winds up. He shoots on the run, and Canaris had it easily and made the save. Here's the outlet pass, and it's nearly thrown away, but Flynn regains it and makes a fine move, and Flynn has the ball in open field. Here's Chris Flynn, Pennsylvania. Return in front, shot, goal! It was Sean Doherty again, and he has his 3rd goal of the game, and Chris Flynn, after making that pass, is down on the field. Flynn made the play, and you see him down right now. He made a fine play, but the Pennsylvania team cannot afford to lose their top player.
Hopefully it's a win situation where he was knocked down, got the wind knocked out, but he's the player for this team. There it is. It was definitely a hit that took the wind out of him. But look at Doherty in there. Makes a nice fake high, gets Palem to commit high, and when he's off his feet, he just dumps it underneath his legs. A tremendously cool play for Daugherty. Let's watch it develop again. See the defense for Syracuse? It's coming across left to right on your screen. That leaves Sean Daugherty wide open. He comes in, fakes high, gets Caleb to leave his feet, and then dumps it in low. A very controlled offensive push. Sean Daugherty now 3 goals for Penn. And look at the score, 8-6. Penn very much in this game.
Flynn will leave, and he will not be taking this face-off. Tom Vecchione will face off for Pennsylvania in his place. So an advantage perhaps upcoming for Syracuse as Flynn leaves, and number 26, Vecchione, prepares to knee down and square off against Durgel. And I would imagine if Syracuse has a quick strike play off a face-off, this is when you put it in.
Well, I wouldn't bet this guy is too much worse than Chris Flynn. Chris Flynn's going to get the ball, not to demean him. He's tremendous, but the secret to Penn is that they don't give it to you quick. They fight you for it. They'll keep it on the ground like they are right here, and it'll be 3 players fighting for the ball. So it's tough to get that quick shot against this Penn.
Syracuse wins it on possession, dumps it into the attack, half of the field with open field. Fires it across to Owens. Out of Paul Gate. 8-6 to score. 3 minutes left, third quarter. Jimmy behind the cage for the attacking Orangemen.
That was oohing a little bit as Peter Allen walked in there with no defense against him. Could have gotten the ball, had an open shot.
Tony Seaman is a tremendous defensive coach, probably the best around. He's had quite a challenge here today. Here's Zilberti, feeds in front, and Canaris stopped that shot. Peter Allen shoveled it towards the net, sort of a change-up, and Canaris kicked it out.
You know, Bill, I'm not so sure. I'm not convinced yet that Syracuse is out of the woods, because Gary Gate, even though he's controlled it in the third quarter, he hasn't done what he's done all year.
There's a goal for Syracuse.
Greg Burns puts that one in on a nice cutting play. Bounce shot past Canaris, and that's just textbook lacrosse. You cut across the crease, the feeder gives you the ball, and a redirection is pretty hard to stop if you're the goalie. Now watch how it sets up behind to Zilberti. Zilberti will look to the crease. Here's the crease cutting. Comes right down there. Greg Burns makes a cut past the defense. Zilberti always finds the open man. That's why he is so tremendously effective behind the goal. And there's Burns taking the feed just before the sliding defense gets in there to check it out of a stick. And you can't fault Canaris on that one. That's almost impossible to stop.
For Burns, it is number 16 on the season. He has scored in every game this year. Tony Seaman is happy to see his face-off man, Chris Flynn, back onto the field to square off against Durgel. So evidently it was just a win situation with Flynn, and he's back into the game now with his team down by 3 goals.
I'll tell you what, it'll take a John Deere tractor to get Flynn off the field. This guy is just a competitor in the pure definition.
Pennsylvania possession on the face-off. Back to the goaltender, Canaris. 2:05 to play, third quarter. Here's Flynn.
Take away that 3-minute run where Syracuse got the 5 goals and Penn was unsettled.
Flynn with a shot. He scores. He banked it in right off the turf, up high over the right shoulder of Palem, and that's a goal that you don't like to see scored against your team, because it was a wide open shot, and playing on your home turf, it's not going to take a funny bounce, and I think Palem might have misjudged it there. It went right in over his shoulder.
Well, Palem again having just a very so-so day, or maybe worse. He's made one big save, but look at this. He goes down to his knees. He looks unsettled. It wasn't even screened. A shot that you mentioned should be saved 90% of the time. Palem just not seeing the ball real well today. But Chris Flynn comes down and takes charge for his team like he has all year long. 9-7. And this game is not over by a long stretch of the imagination. Penn very much in it.
Illegal procedure called on Flynn on the face.
Procedure on White. The ball goes to blue.
I take that back. It was Durgel.
Well, Durgel's a little upset about it, and I think Flynn was surprised. They'll take it, though. Tony Seaman calling out the plays, holding up the numbers. Bill Durgel right there, 73% effectiveness.
He's hot. John Desko, the Syracuse assistant coach, says, have a seat. 1:55 to play. It's a 9-7 game. The Penn Quakers have come up from Philadelphia.
And Tony, to reiterate a point we talked about earlier, he said his team, he thought the difference in the first game was more than anything else the fact that his team just didn't hit the goal. They had plenty of shots, but they just weren't accurate. Today, they're plenty accurate, and they've tested Palem, and Palem has come out the short end.
Here's a chance in front. Oh, and a tremendous shot by Lyons goes wide. Penn has it behind the cage, and Greco. Greco looks for a man in front. Here he is. Peter Smith against Stouffer. Shot. And that was stopped in front easily by Palem on Lyons. Greco behind the cage, double team. Palem runs him over. No goalie now. Pennsylvania has the ball, but they throw it away. Mazzino of Syracuse. Number 23. Over to Schluter, who's knocked down. He gets back up and has the ball. 56 seconds left, third quarter, 9-7. Syracuse leads. Egan into the goal area. Over to Greg Burns, who has scored the Syracuse 9th goal. Burns moving in, eyeing that cage. Syracuse brings the Gate brothers in on this change here. 40 seconds left in the quarter. And now Paul Gate has it. Number 3 running into the bottom of the screen there is Roos, the other first-team midfielder.
This midfield is made up of 2 current All-Americans, and Roos was an All-American at Rutgers. So pretty high-powered offensive unit on that midfield.
The time in the corner is for the third quarter. Syracuse leading 9-7. Here's Brooke Chase. Time running down. Burns shooting, and Canaris made the save with 5 seconds left. And the whistle blows a crease violation.
White was in the crease. Blue.
Well, give Canaris all the credit. I'll tell you, take away that 3-minute stretch where they scored 5 goals. Canaris has been absolutely sensational. He's looked as good as any goalie has this year. He's doing the job, and that was another example right there. A good working job for the offense inside. Canaris turning away the shot.
Only 2 seconds left in the quarter. Look for a long length of the field pass here, perhaps. Try for a quick goal. See how far they'll throw the ball here. Length of the field. And that's the end of the quarter. But a profitable one for Syracuse and Coach Roy Simmons Jr. It was 4-3 Penn going in, and after 3, the Orangemen have erupted. It's Syracuse 9 and Pennsylvania 7. Seconds to play. Regulation time. And it's tied at the end of the fourth quarter. We'll go to a 4-minute sudden death overtime period. They'll continue to play overtimes until someone scores. Each period would be 4 minutes. Here's a chance now for the Quakers. Moving in, Kelly feeds in front. They score! Conforte scores. It is 9-8.
What a nice job Penn did of doing a controlled clear. They controlled the ball until they got it into their own offense. It sort of lulled Syracuse to sleep, and then they pushed it fast to the offensive transition. Beautiful job. Made 3 passes and beat Caleb, who's having a tough time.
The Quakers are hanging in there. 9-3 to play. Syracuse 9, Pennsylvania 8. A 1-goal game with 10 minutes left.
Well, here's what happens with a team like Syracuse. Overall, the character of the Syracuse team is roll the ball out, let the guys get it, and go. They're a run-and-gun, instinctive kind of team. Penn is a very cerebral. They do things in a structured way, and they have won the tempo battle today.
Here's Chris Flynn off the face-off, feeding in front. Shot, score! It is tied 9-9 as Peter Smith tallies it by Palem, and the Quakers have battled back to even it up.
I think it was Stu Fisher up in front of the goal. And what a tremendous job as you see the crowd. Penn has a lot of fans down here. Simmons a little confused now, but very confident because he has the big guns on his team. But Penn is doing everything perfectly. Moving the ball, making 2 or 3 passes. This is what's great about lacrosse. You make 2 or 3 passes, chances are you're going to get the good shot in the goal. They come down, make the 3 passes on the fast break, get the defense to overcommit, and beat a very confused Palem, who has had shots right in his face most of the game.
You're right, it was Fisher that got it. The assist goes to Smith. And we're tied 9-9 with 9:39 to play. Flynn wins this face-off, and after Syracuse had seemingly assumed control in the third quarter, the Quakers have come back, and now they've got the momentum here in the fourth.
They had that 3-minute run where Syracuse kind of scared the daylights out of Penn. Penn regrouped, and except for that 3 minutes, they have really controlled this game. It's the Penn game that's dictating the tempo. And Zalberti is still not in the game, I don't think, so that is going to be an effect on that offense of Syracuse. Their quarterback, their leading feeder, is not in the game.
Quakers on the attack, look to take the lead. The last time they led, it was 4-3. That was at halftime.
And the last time they beat Syracuse was in 1919. A long time ago.
That score was 2-1. Ball stripped away, Syracuse on the run.
This is what he loves. This
Gary
is
Gate.
dangerous.
Unmarked, Gary Gate moving in. Double team, lost the ball. Brother Paul tries to scoop it up, but the Quakers get it. Gate tries to scrape it away.
I don't understand Gary Gate. Excuse me, Bill. Unbelievably uncharacteristic the way he's handling the ball. That's not the way Gary Gate has been making goals this year.
Here's Stuart Fisher of Penn into the goal area. Winds up, he shoots. Palin the save. Rebound in the crease, and Palin picks it up. And a Pennsylvania player stepped over the line.
Going back to that move by Gary Gate, you know what he normally does? He had 9 goals against Navy last week. Bill, what he's really feared for is when he comes down the field like he had the ball moments ago, he'll take like 3 giant leaps and just rocket a 100-mile-an-hour shot that the goalie literally has trouble seeing. For some reason, he's reluctant to take that shot. He had that shot on the last break, and he elected not to take it. I don't understand.
Halo has stopped 13. 9 have gone by him. 9-9 tie as we come down to the final 8 minutes of play. The winner advances to the national finals to meet either Virginia or Cornell.
You know, when a team like Penn controls the tempo, that's what they do. They sort of change your mindset. They've got Gary Gate thinking about doing other things, like jumping over the goal from behind and not taking that cannon shot up front.
Here's Burns. Fired it behind the cage to Jim Egan. Back in front, shot, and a great save there on Peter Allen as Canaris just robbed him.
Well, you're seeing the game of his life out of Canaris.
And a crease violation on Syracuse. Watch number 15, Peter Allen, one-on-one.
How many times have we seen this? Watch Canaris. He reads the shot, goes right up in the air, and turns it away, cutting down the angle beautifully. Watch again. Right out front. This has got to be a goal for Syracuse. No. Canaris stands his ground, cuts the angle down slightly, and goes right up to take it away from Syracuse. He's had to have done that 5 times today. 21 saves. You see the graphic. He's playing above his head, a tremendous athlete who's having the game of his life today for this coach, Tony Seaman of Penn. Say a little bit of apprehension in the crowd here at Syracuse, Bill. They're not used to seeing this team tied in the 4th quarter. I'll bet you this is the first time all year it's happened.
Here's Lyons beating his man, and Palin turned him aside with a fine save. They did have one close game. North Carolina played them to an overtime game here, and Syracuse won. Here's a chance in front for the Quakers once again as Lyons shoots, and that was deflected off of Stoker, the close defenseman. And Syracuse counterattacks. In the offensive half of the field, here is Brooke Chase. The Orangemen are without their leading attack man, Zilberti, and Chase bounces it wide. He is in there in place of Zilberti.
And what happens is, on that kind of play, Zilberti normally backs up the goal. He's not in the game. They come down a little bit rattled. They look for their leader. He's not there. They take a shot. Nobody backs up. Conversely, the ball goes right back to Penn. They have it. We talked about the margin of victory right here. 10 goals per game, more than the opposition. Their average margin of victory is 10.5 goals, Bill. This team can score in big numbers. Today, Penn has taken them right out of their offense.
7 minutes to play. Regulation time. The Orangemen 9, the Quakers 9.
You know, they had a big burden to bear, being that tremendously explosive team with the great players and all the press clippings. And, you know, you really got to sort that out as a player and say, you know, that's just press. We got to play hard to win. Tony Seaman comes in with nothing to lose. It's just saying, hey, look, I'm coming up here to win this game. We can do it if we do these certain things. And he's done just that.
Here's Mike Kelly, a junior midfielder out of Stony Brook, New York. Kelly. 2 Mike Kelly and 10 Tom Kelly, brothers out there. Clock down to 6:21. Here's Peter Smith, number 9, guarded by Stouffer.
Again, you see Penn spreading the defense. Syracuse is so aggressive. They are best when they are aggressive and helping each other with hard slides out in that very area. But look how far Penn is out. Penn has spread that defense so that they can't help each other.
Fisher moving in against Bruce and beat him. Zilberti, by the way, has just returned to the field for Syracuse at the other end. There he is. Zilberti back at the other